All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live. With Jackson Callum, I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there.
You know more than I do. You've got decades of experience on me. I can already see that. And I know that you've used it quite well, what you think would be best.
Many aspects of your story are things that resonate with me. The where I'm at now, if I'm going to summarize, is I've having interviewed 500 thought leaders on credibility and then reinforcing what I did there for the last 6 years. I have a superpower. And that superpower is to sit with any company or any human, help them articulate where they're currently executing on their purpose in less than 10 words. If we can do that, what comes next is people will trust, know, and love us. I don't use know, like, trust. I use trust, know, like. But I'll show you the framework of credibility in a moment. People will trust, know, and like us as long as we act credibly. One of the big issues with companies is they come up with their own values, but there shouldn't be their own values. We should be living in the values of just pure credibility. And those are 10. So what I was able to do in listening to you is hear today where you're executing on your purpose. And what I could do is share with you how I'm doing mine, and I'll share with you yours. Yours is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 words. 6 words are kind of cool. So for me, the concept of what I'm doing, I call it a CPOP, your customer point of possibilities. And it is the most extreme form of clarity, because if you're a credible human, one of the 10 values, you're a servant leader. You have the intent and commitment to do the right things. Matter of fact, let me step back for a second. We'll do credibility for a second.
Love it.
Credibility is the quality in which you're trusted, known, and liked. And those are the 10 values of credibility. The only value which is listed twice is integrity. There's a very interesting reason for that. If you think about the integrity associated with being trusted, that's your external integrity, who you say you are to the world. Once you get to know somebody, though, they have the internal integrity. And when there's a incongruity between the internal, external integrity, that's when the hair in the back of our neck stick up, right? So what's important is you want to power people to be credible. You want to power people to be credible in the way in which the system works today, which is through monetizing efforts, which allows us to give value to the world through building their legacy. Right. And so there's all the aspects of credibility there. It's important to be authentic. It's important to be vulnerable, coachable. I can't imagine Grant Cardone being coachable, right? Because he won't be vulnerable, because that's not the way he's taught. That's not how he speaks, right? So if you are a servant leader, have the intent and commitment to do the right thing, your integrity is aligned. What's interesting, it's very easy to make friends. You're doing part of it now on the being likable. 2 aspects. One, showing respect. By the way, one aspect of showing respect is getting a link way before 2 minutes after the hour, just so you know. But showing respect is, for me, coming early, coming prepared, coming with my heart. You researching me ahead of time, that's showing respect, right? The other thing is, and you're doing this at the moment, spreading my cred dust. You're spreading the ideas, thoughts, and actions that I have. And that's one of the really cool things about running a podcast, or whatever vehicle it is where you become the awareness sponsor of somebody else, right? So this is what credibility is about. And this to me is just another framework in which we should live.
It's incredible.
When I did my TEDx, my TEDx on this one is called We are losing our humanity, and I'm tired of watching it happen. It's got 500,000 views. I was originally thinking that if everyone was just more credible, we'd be more human, or sorry, more humane. Okay. And it turns out so many people have different definitions of the word credibility. I spent 3.5 years with a nice 6-figure credibility business, but it wasn't a change the world business.
Mhm.
So then I flipped and switched to what I'm going to share with you now, the clarity piece of it. And I thought, hey, let's create a clarity certification program and let's teach people how to be clarity experts. Did that for a year before I had a really good friend of mine slap me in the face. Um, we're going to come back to your CPOP, so we'll come back to clarity. So here's what happened. Um, a a good friend of mine, a guy by the name of Ken Cook, a marketer out there. Ken gets on the phone with me. He goes, Mitchell, I know every living marketing legend alive today, and I don't know anyone who does clarity the way you do. Right. So Jackson, boom, my head is like, he goes, remind me how many people don't have it. So doing the research, what I could tell you is that somewhere in the pretty close to 98% of companies and individuals do not have clarity. 98%. So I tell him 98%. He then says, hey, Mitchell, I'm going to tell you something you don't like. Now, so first, builds the ego. And then I'm like, yeah, what can he possibly say? What I want you to imagine is a balloon. And ever see a balloon and you take a pin to a balloon, you see how quickly it deflates and just disappears? He did that with 3 sentences. He tried to caution it or say, "Hey, Mitchell, this is just marketing speak," right? He goes, "All right, so Mitchell, you are world class at something that 98% of your audience doesn't have. They don't have it because they either think they have it and they don't, or they don't think they need it. Either way, that number sucks."
Yeah.
He was not wrong. I ended up he ended up giving me a gift right away, and the second gift came the next day. The gift that came right away is he said, "Look me in the eyes. Tell me what you do for me right now that'll put money in my pocket tomorrow." And the thought that came to my head was executive presence. Now, what I've done is I've now turned that into the book that's not publicly released called Executive Abundance. I'm actually doing a PhD program on executive abundance. It's how I've been doing my executive coaching. And we'll probably do another episode on that one if you're interested at some point in time. The book gets released later on in this year, so it'll be released in May. I need to actually have my dissertation committee approve my dissertation first before I could release the book. The next gift came to me the next morning, and it's something I've known my entire life and ignored to now probably about a year and a quarter ago. It's very simple. You'll get it as soon as I say it. I knew it. I just didn't follow it. Sell them what they want, deliver what they need. So, Jackson, I spent a year interviewing 500 thought leaders on credibility, 3.5 years on a credibility business, a year on a clarity business, 5.5 years of my life focusing on what people need, not what they want. They don't need credibility. They don't need clarity. I actually think they do. Actually, they don't want it. Sorry, let me rephrase it.
Right. Here. Go
They
ahead. Say
don't
it.
want clarity, credibility. They think they already have it or some form of it. They do need it. So what
Yeah.
happens is with the framework I showed you, if you just act that way, you're credible.
Yes.
I can then give the clarity. And what executive abundance is taking it to the next level that I could bring into companies and others. And the interesting part is I now in what I'm researching and understanding is that I'm putting out into the marketplace a operating system in which companies can operate where they don't focus on the primary stakeholder everyone focuses on today. Today they focus on investors. And what I'm doing is putting a multi-stakeholder operating system in place. And it's not just, it's building on what exists today. Um, and it's something that is very actionable going forward. Anyhow, we'll come back to that one. Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, that's kind of a
Real
summary.
quick on that, Mitchell, real quick on that, because you just helped me remember to pull something full circle. I'll do it really fast. I got a little bit tongue tied when you asked me about the audience that I serve, and I failed to pull it full circle because this is fairly new in the last year. One, let's go back a few years ago. I realized that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something that's well, thanks to Chip Conley of Book Peak, that you can apply Maslow's hierarchy of needs to investors, customers, and team members. Okay, that was great. Huge fan of the book. Okay, so I started to apply that to the clients that I wanted to serve. But I found that if I could go into a networking room, for instance, and I would say, "Hey, my name is Jackson. I'm the owner of First Class Business, and I help founders with sustainable revenue growth." Almost 95% of the room would go to sleep instantly, but a couple of heads in the room would go like this, and I knew those were my people. It was very easy for me to pick the people that I wanted to work with without scaling. To your point, I realized as well the same. I just didn't know how to capitalize on it. I didn't know how to help the people who didn't already value sustainable revenue growth. But I knew that if I really wanted to get an appointment with anybody out there, all I had to do was say, "Hey, I got a referral for you." Why? Because oxygen for businesses is leads or sales. And so you're right. I've been very much over the last couple of months playing with this concept of, okay, how do we exactly what you said, sell them what they want, but deliver what they need. And so I love what you're up to. I love the chart that you shared too. Is like, my goodness, like I just learned so much that I've never seen anywhere else before. And that's hard to do when I'm just constantly talking to leaders. So praise to you, Mitchell, on what you've been
Thank
able to
you.
go out so far. Keep going. Please
Thank
pick the mic.
you. So I'm going to jump back into this concept of a CPOP. So
Yeah.
it stands for Customer Point of Possibilities. I actually today have two. The one that deals with my executive coaching is not too dissimilar to yours, but I have a different audience. It's fast growing CEOs living executive abundance. And so the concept of being able to
Mhm.
say a CPOP, which is small like that, is to have somebody say to you, either a referral partner or a prospect, tell me more. What's executive abundance? And I could go into detail on that.
Correct.
What happened at the same time, this is now about a year and a quarter ago, is I ended up buying a LinkedIn agency. It turns out to be a very interesting opportunity to experiment with what much smaller businesses, the same concepts that are associated with executive abundance. My CPOP there, business owners tired of slimy LinkedIn sales tactics,
Mhm.
right? So what
Yeah.
do I do? Right? The tell me more on that one is very simple. Is well, let me help you build relationships on LinkedIn because the relationships turn into referral partners and customers.
Yep.
Kind of simple. So, and there's a lot more behind that I can talk about. I was actually in the room with Reid Hoffman, Konstantin Gerlich, so 2 of the 5 founders of LinkedIn before LinkedIn was making money, and they paid me to make sure that the first book on LinkedIn was ever published. And so I had it written and then we published it. So
Very cool.
those are my 2. Let me share the one that I came up with for you, which is 6 words.
Yeah.
And the way it's said is not too dissimilar to what you said before when you were networking. Now I'm putting it in chat so that because I'm visual, so you got to see it.
Me too.
But for me, it's legacy driven leaders ethically growing their business.
One optimization. That's it. One
Hey,
optimization for me. Legacy driven leaders ethically growing their brands. And the
I'm,
reason why is a lot
I'm
of
going
my
to say
clients. Go ahead.
I'll leave that up to either way. So it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. Right.
Mhm.
And those are 2 different things because the way you were speaking was not brand. I mean, I'm just so what I listen to when somebody speaks are the words that come out of their mouths and the energy level in terms of what's excited, not excited. And you weren't speaking brand, although that's kind of where the word I almost changed ethically growing to ethically living, right? Because you were sort of living, so maybe living is similar to brand. The reason I did business is I feel that's a little bit more what they want. They want a business that's going to continue to grow, not a brand that's going to continue to grow. Because you already covered the word brand through the word legacy. By the way, this is not a,
Love
it
that.
doesn't matter which one.
I totally get it.
At the end of the day, well, what happens is when you say something like that, someone says, "Hey, Jackson, who are you?" There's a group of entrepreneurs and business people that really benefit from what I do, right? That's the hook. And then you do these words, legacy driven leaders, ethically growing their business. If they're a referral partner or a prospect, they're going to ask you some form of tell me more. What do you mean ethically? What do you mean growing? What do you mean business? Right. And whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Or like me, what do you mean legacy driven? Right. And that is, hey, listen, what do I do? I sit with you. I figure out what you get excited about. What I want you to do is to do the right thing. I want you to grow your business in a way that you feel good, that your family feels good, that carries a legacy for you, not just today, but tomorrow. And I want you to have fun doing it. That's what I help people do, right? That would be your tell me more.
I love it. I love the pushback on the business aspect as well. When I say pushback, we're talking about perspective and expansion on it. And so it's something that I've been kind of fighting with for the last couple of years because our company is named First Class Business. Right. So we have that in there. And my heart often caters to the professional and to the entity that is uncomfortable with the idea of business. But that's not necessarily a good strategic move when it comes to certain transactions. But a lot of coaches, for instance, a lot of naturopaths, a lot of nonprofits, those types of entities often won't consider themselves a business. They end up shying away from the conversation. But to your point, Mitchell, there's an opportunity to use the synonym in different capacities. But you've actually inspired me to realize that no, I can probably meditate on the value of helping those individuals get comfortable with business rather than feeling like they have to shy away from it.
Oh,
So thank
by
you.
the way, just so you know, the tell me more. So I'm going to ask you to take whatever you've memorized. You're, by the way, not somebody who memorizes stuff, but whatever you've memorized for a 30-second pitch and throw that out. Because the tell me more is contextual based on who you're talking to. So you're talking to a bunch of people who don't like the word business. That's the first thing you talk about is you say, by the way, I understand this room doesn't like the word business. Okay.
Right.
Right. And then you go on from there.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I love it. Man, that's awesome. This was such a great session. It wasn't just a podcast, it was a learning session. I did get to learn so much. Any visionary who gets to listen in on what we just talked about, I mean, this is just absolutely golden, Mitchell.
Oh,
And
thank
so,
you.
yes, I'd love to have you back. We do have another show, another type of recording. We go live on the other type of show, and we go for 40 to 60 minutes on that one, and it publishes instantly. This one will come out within 6 to 8 weeks. But man, I would love to have you back again. I'd love to dive deeper. There's too much value not to.
Yeah, we'll have fun. We'll have fun. I have to be a little bit cautious on the executive abundance stuff because I theoretically, everything that's there, needs to be new, right? That's what dissertation's all about, right? So I have to be very careful. That said, May 7th is when I plan on publishing my, executive abundance book. It's currently on pre-sale, for Amazon. I'd love to come on before then and talk a little bit about April 7th is when I defend my dissertation, so I should know by then. So
Uh,
after April 7th, before May 7th, I would love to do a live with you. Yeah.
okay, man. Well, that'd be great. I have an idea for it too. You can shoot this down, but I think it'd be an amazing opportunity. I think that I honestly feel that I'm about 5 to 10 years away from creating the light switch for entrepreneurship, and I mean that. And if you think about it, like the context of what that means, 200 years ago, you and I would have been scared to death to turn a light on. We already heard about all the accidents that had to occur in order for that thing to work. Nowadays, we don't even have to think about it. In addition to that, people who have extreme uh, challenges in life are still able to actually turn a light switch on. Right? Almost anybody can do that. With entrepreneurship, we don't have something like that in place, but uh, we've unlocked certain knowledge points that can help almost any entrepreneur do it if they build the system behind it. And I call it the 7 avatars of business. Nobody is talking about the 7 avatars of business. I've never seen it taught before. You've seen more rooms than I have, so it'd be really neat for me to see if you know what the 7 avatars are, and if you've heard that elsewhere. And if you haven't, it only shows even further why it's so valuable. And again, anybody can then take the concept and run and build the things that they need to with it. But we've been in the process of building the 40 plus thousand variables of automations, procedures, resources, and templates that are necessary for any entrepreneur to be able to plug in and now finally practice what Michael Gerber talks about. He says if entrepreneurs want to win, we've got to learn to delegate and not do it through abdication, right? We've got to be able to do it in a way where our team knows what to do, we know what to do, but how can you delegate responsibly if you still have to figure out every single piece of the system and how to engineer and operate it? Like, it's still too hard. That's way too hard for companies to be able to do and build at scale. So anyway, that system is something that we'll be able to give for free to every single business owner on the planet once it's finalized. And I need probably somewhere between 6 months and 12 months of full development time to be able to finish building the pieces to make it happen. But if you could even imagine, like I said, we could talk about the 7 avatars on there. I would personally love to have your feedback on it. It's shared IP. I just want the world to bring it to fruition, because if we
Sure.
can really do that,
would love, would love to learn more. Would love to.
it'd be amazing. It'd be so cool, and I would be so happy to have your feedback on it and your critique on it. I know that what you would give on that would be a matter of just building up what it is that we've already started the process of. So it'd be my honor.
Thank you, Jackson. Thanks so much for having me here and getting to know you.
Yeah.
And I liked how you expressed who you were and what success would mean for you. Even the range of success felt really comfortable for me. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Mitchell. Anytime you've got some feedback for me, I already consider you a mentor. And I'd be honored to just continue to learn from what you're up to and possibly be involved. So we'll look at that. Vision Pros, again, those of you listening in, this, like Mitchell said, the relationship aspect of podcasts is what this is all about. You too have an opportunity to reach out to Mitchell Levy on LinkedIn, on other social media platforms. You can find him as well at mitchelllevy.com, and see what resources he has available there. At first, it intimidated me. I thought, man, this guy, he's only going to be helping big corporate executives, and then I started looking at materials like, wow, he's got materials for people who are just getting started too. So there's a whole range of depth available through what he's offering, and Mitchell will turn the volume up on the value we give on the next episode as well.
Super. Jackson, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll see you later, man.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.